Hello and welcome everyone. This is Race on Oz. It's Monday night. It's the PC League. It is round number 6. It's the second Enduro of the season, 2 of 3. And we're going to take a little break once this round is over. And we'll kick off the final third of the season in a couple of weeks. But we've got 2 hours of the Nurburgring to get through. And we're about 4 minutes away from qualifying kicking off for this one. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we do that. Welcome to everyone as well. I hope you've all had a good start to the week. Hope you had a good weekend. Having a look at the points situation at the moment. So it's Andrew Lawrenson leading the way. Didn't have a great time out last round at Snetterton. Finished 14th after that first lap incident. Kind of just put him right on the back foot for the rest of the evening. And that was the lowest he's finished all season. He's still leading the championship though by 15 points. Ethan Cale, who was our last race winner, he took out P1 at Snetterton last week, so he's sitting in second right now. Bruno Gallo, he was a non-starter last week, sitting there in third on 316. Fourth position is James Pierre Reid. He had a good podium result last week in P3, so he's sitting there in fourth position right now in the championship, 259 points. Tied with him is Terry Rayton, who's had a very, very steady season. Sixth last week, looking to improve on that yet again. Nando Latenzio in sixth there, so he was outright second last week. Massive result for Nando, sitting there on 255 points. Anthony Cesana in seventh on 249. Matt Frost, the 666 Ferrari, he was a DNF last week. He's sitting there in 8th. Neil Fakeney in 9th. He finished 12th last week. And Paul Russell had a good result, sitting there in 10th position on 180 points. He finished 4th last week. So that's the pro standings. We've got about 2.5 minutes before this all kicks off. Nando Latenzio took out the class victory. So he sits atop of the championship standings, 164 points, 3 points clear of Anthony Cesana, sitting there in second, who finished P2 last week. Neil Fakeney, top 5 finisher in class last week, 127 points in third. Peter Wall, he didn't start last week, 4th on 110. Then you got Chris Hildebrandt. Nathan Harvey rounded out the podium for silver last week. He's sitting there in 6th position in the championship. Matthew Marsh, Beyond Trophies Racing, he's 2 points ahead of Wally Masterson in 8th on 83. Then Stephen Haycock and Carlos Dominiak rounding out the top 10. James Mack leads AM championship standings right now on 169 points. He's 5 points clear of Herbertron there, who was the class winner last week. So great result for him in that beautifully turned out McLaren of his. Then you got Mark Hurley, who's sitting there in third. He was a DNF last week, so he's a fair way off Herbertron and James Mack right now. A bit of a 2-horse race, so he'll be looking to make up some points this evening, as we're about 70-odd seconds away from getting this one started. Andrew Green sitting there in 4th position. He was second last week, so great result for him. 5th is Harley Scotland. He was a non-starter last week, as was Dominic Johnstone. Dylan Powell was a DNF, and Chris Brooker did not start either. That is the AM Championship standings. How does the teams all pan out right now? It is Beyond Trophies on top right now. They're leading it by a hefty margin, 376 points in fact. They're sitting there on 1,180 points. Bruce Hale Racing there in P2. Gamesman Racing Team right behind, so it's all still to play for second, but Beyond Trophies have got a pretty decent gap on everyone at the moment. Selby Acoustics Racing sitting there in 4th, ICR 5th, Ignition Controls Racing 628, and Pagnian Next Level, they're in 6th position, 523 points. Just a quick little preview of the circuit tonight. So it is the Nurburgring, the 5.148 kilometre circuit, 15 turns. Lots of undulation. Should be a fun one tonight. That first sector is quite tight and twisty, so getting that part of the lap right is crucial and vitally important to setting yourself up for a competitive time around here. As you go out of the Schumacher S's up through Warsteiner Curve and then Mercedes Arena, it's a fast sweeping right-hander of Bojan through there, and then bringing you into the final part of the lap. So we are about to get things started here, and let's have a look at the time. So it was no surprise there. Andrew Lawrenson was P1, 1:53 was his time. Let's get qualifying underway. So they're all making their way out onto the circuit. In game time, it's 8 o'clock. So we'll be starting in the evening and be going through in terms of conditions of the circuit tonight. We'll be starting race at 5 p.m. local time, and we're going to have a ×2 accelerator. So it's a 2-hour race. Cloud levels 0.25, rain is 0, weather randomness is 3. I did find out, even though the rain is 0, it still means that it can rain with the weather randomness turned up to what it is. So there you go, you learn something new every day. That is the settings for this evening. As Ethan Cale is out there on the circuit now, so is Peter Wall. Paul Huddy has got a livery together for this week. He had a great debut last week. See if he can improve on that. Matthew Marsh has got out on circuit. I'm not too sure if that's new. The different coloured roof there. Maybe just not noticed it all this time. Who else do we have out there? This is Paul Russell, the ever-present Buzz and Hornets livery of his. Marcus Van Vliet. Andrew Lawrenson is out there. So I think we're going to be looking at Ethan Cale as our first flying lap of the session. So we'll pick him up as he's just making his way through the final turn. Turn 15. He's going to wind that Mercedes up, and he'll be looking to set down hopefully the benchmark for the session. I'm sure he'll be hoping. I thought we were set for Lawrenson versus Cale round 2 last week, but yeah, that first corner incident ended up taking out Lawrenson, and it ended up being a pretty straightforward race from there for Cale. In terms of challenges were all spread out through the pack there after that lap 1, turn 1 incident. As you do sometimes get in racing, as you do in real life, it also happens in sim racing, a lot cheaper. So the emotions are still real though. We go on board with Cale making his way through turn 6. Now down the hill, slight left-hand kink into turn 7. This is where the track actually goes off to the Nordschleife, or a little bit further up from here, or maybe I've missed it. I'm not sure, but he won't be doing any Nordschleife laps this evening. As he comes up to turn 10, the left-hander. Tricky left-hander, that one. You got to run it out wide on the using all the apron there, and then you will take this right-hander flat out. Kisses the curb ever so slightly. It's going to be hard on the brakes, leaving that braking extremely late there. So showing that he's completely confident in that car right now. See what sort of marker he sets down. Gets a little untidy on the exit. That shouldn't deter him too much. A 1:54.7, so that's a cracking time from him. Hildebrand was the next one to come across. What about Lawrenson? What is he doing? Expect to see him up there this evening. And he goes to the top of the time, so a 1:53 on that lap around. John Stockton goes into P7. This is Peter Wall for the Selby Acoustics McLaren. Make his way to the line. So a 53.1 is the marker that has been set as P1 for qualifying. It's all over and done with pretty quick. We've only got 10 minutes and 20 seconds left. A short, sharp 15-minute session, that's all we've got. This is, we're looking at Carlos Dominiak coming through. See what sort of time he sets. There he goes. Oh, Chris Cooley just missed him. What about Herbachon? We'll be looking to make up some spots in the championship this evening as he comes through the final turn. That beautifully turned out McLaren. What sort of time can he set? That's around the 59s. James Mack. So he's our AM championship leader right now. Let's see what he can do in that Audi. Makes his way through the final turn. And goes up into P18. Marcus Van Vliet is having a good one right now. He's currently sitting in P4. Lawrenson, though, is the man they're all trying to catch at the moment. We've got Huddy, who's just up ahead of these guys. He's about to complete another lap. Hildebrand was just behind him as well. And then we'll go back to, who was it? Ethan Cale is on a slower lap at the moment. Paul Russell, currently sitting P5, trying to pick up a little bit of a toe there from John Stockton. Anthony Cesana is up on his best time right now. Just seeing who else is out there. But they're all chasing Lawrenson. He is currently leading this one. Chris Cooley up there. Rayton, Cale, Van Vliet, Russell, Cesana, Harvey, Hurley, Reed. And as we continue on with Anthony Cesana, makes his way through the final turn. 4/10 up on his best time. There he goes. Harvey's just started a lap. Who else is out there? So Lawrenson in the pits, making his way out now. Might stick with Paul Russell for a little bit. He's 4/10 up on his best time. How to get him contending for the second row of the grid. Currently on the third row, P6. James Pierre Reid is out there right now. Lost a whole bunch of time. He's gone into the pits. Who else? James Mack. James Mack is just missed out. He just crossed the line then. We'll go back to Paul Russell, who's up on his best time. 8/10 of a second up. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. Still Lawrenson at 53.147. Setting pole position right now. Cooley, Brayton, Cale, Van Vliet. Good to see Marcus Van Vliet up there. Russell, Cesana, Harvey, Hurley, Reed. So James Pierre Reid contending for the top 10. Paul Huddy as well. He's up there in 11th. Paul Russell, where can he come out? Top 4. Nice work from him. He'll be pretty happy with that. Nathan Harvey is almost a second up on his best time. That moves him up into P6. Nice work from him. Anthony Cesana. Quickly flick over to Neil Fakeney. In the all-black liveried Lamborghini this evening. 7/10 up on his best time. That'll get him up into P10. Nice work from him. Let's go back to Carlos Dominiak. He is half a second up on his best time. 6 minutes and change remaining in this qualifying session. Setting the grid for round 6 of the Race on Oz PC League. We're going to go, will be the 2/3 mark for the season. Haycock moves up into 16th, then we'll take a little bit of a break and we'll be back for the final third of the season. This is Dominic Johnstone, try and pronounce it correctly. 24 on the grid tonight. Pretty good turnout, I reckon. That's nice and healthy for this stage of the season. What about Ethan Cale? He's 4 seconds off his best time, so we might just duck away from him. Mark Hurley is up right now, so DNF last week. Currently sitting P3 in the AM Championship. Well down on Herbachon and James Mack, so he's got plenty of ground to make up. 8:09 p.m. in-game, so it's just a time multiplier of 1. Still, it's exciting. A little bit of variety. Pit stops are going to be standard tonight, though. Just mandatory fuel and tyre stop. And that's going to put an end to Hurley's charge. Let's dip over to Lawrenson. He's a 10th up on his best time right now. A 1:53.147. That is ahead of the class. By a healthy margin as well. Almost a full second over Cooley. Ethan Cale, the other contender, down there in P5. So the Mercedes not finding the Nurburgring to its liking at this stage. Track conditions, 13 degrees air, 13 degrees track. Optimum conditions it's rated as. I'd imagine it'd be pretty slippery out there with those sort of temperatures. Probably common for this time of the year. Located in the hilly part of Germany. Had the privilege of visiting the Nurburgring before. Do a lap around the Nordschleife, and Lawrenson remains in P1. Highly recommended if you can do it. Chris Hildebrand down there in P16 right now. He's 4/10 up on his best time. Just having a look. Cooley's out there, but just battling away. Terry Rayton is down on his best time. Paul Russell is down on his best time, and so is Ethan Cale. So Andrew Lawrenson is standing tall right now, and that 1:53.147 is proving to be quite difficult to budge. It's 9/10 the difference between him and Cooley, sitting in P2. As Hildebrand moves up into P11, so a nice result for him so far. What about James Pierre Reid? He's just invalidated his lap, so he was up on his best time. Almost at the end of the lap as well, so he'll be very frustrated with that. Only 3 minutes remaining in this session. Click over to Peter Wall. We'll have a look at how he's going right now. Currently sitting P18. Sitting 4th in the championship. Move into the final third of the season. Those championship standards are going to become a little bit more important week on week. And Wall bumps himself up into P12, so that's a good result for him. Who else is out there on a lap? I'll just try and find Eberchard. He's up. He was up, and he's just kissing the wall there. So we'll duck away for now. We'll stick with Ethan Cale. He's a 10th up on his best time. The 4 drivers ahead of him are all on a lap, but they're all down on their best time. So no point in sticking with them for now. We'll just continue to watch Ethan Cale chip away at this. About 1.5 up on his best time. Herbertron just getting out of the way there. Nice work from him. He comes down into the chicane. The MGK chicane. Side of a pretty infamous accident a long time ago. Incident, you would say, with Michael Schumacher back in his Benetton days. 3/10 up on his best time, though. Ethan Cale goes into P3. Nice work from him. Chris Cooley is starting to warm up. He's 2/10 up on his best time. Currently sitting in P2. Lots of 2s there. Look at the sparks flying. That is one of the major benefits of having a late in the evening session. Hopefully Cooley can make sure he starts again. It'll be 2 weeks in a row. He did quite well last week too, so he'll be looking to just keep out of trouble. It's no weather forecast at this stage, so we shouldn't see any rain. Still flirting with about 1.5 ups, 1.5 tenths up on his best time as we go on board. Listen to that big V8 of the Aston Martin just humming away delightfully. He heads down through the fast sweeping turn 12. Let's see how late he breaks. We were with Ethan Cale before, and before the 50 metre mark. About where Cale was as well, so leaving those leaving that braking as late as he can. Just trying to see what's on the roof there. Couldn't quite catch it. We might be able to check that out later. Paul Russell has stopped on circuit. Terry Rayton, he's up on his best time, about a 10.5. Ethan Cale, though, is up by 2/10. We've gone 000, so this will be his final chance. 1.5 tenths is the best time. That's not going to be enough to move up onto the front row of the grid. He remains in third position. Terry Rayton, he's out there. He was up on his best time, but he's lost a bit of time through the final turn. Looks like P5 is all he's going to be able to manage this evening. Neil Phaeton is out there, but he's a few tenths down now on his best time, so he will not be improving there. Nathan Harvey, one of the last 3 cars out on circuit right now, making his way through turn 7, head up through the Michael Schumacher S's. See how he goes through here. He's just flirting at the moment, so he's neither up nor down, or now he is down a little bit here. Nathan Wilson is not racing tonight, so internet issues. It's unfortunate. Bloody got his livery all sorted this week too, so... Glenn Stimson not racing tonight. It's math for him. And that's going to be the grid. So Andrew Lawrenson is our pole position sitter, a 1:53.130. Congratulations to him. Andrew Lawrenson, takes pole position again. He's become quite accustomed to doing that. Chris Cooley in P2, still out on circuit. There he is. Ethan Cale in third. Fourth is Paul Russell. You've got Terry Rayton, Marcus Van Vliet, Harvey, Reed, Latenzio and Marsh. 3.5 minutes before we get this one started. Let's have a look at silver. So Nathan Harvey was the highest silver driver. Well done to him. Latenzio and Marsh. That's your top 3 there. Mark Hurley. Good result for him, up there in P13. He's the highest of the AM drivers, so that'll do his championship hopes good. He's currently sitting there, in P3, so he needs to finish ahead of Herbertron and James Mack, and that's where he's going to be starting this one in about 2 minutes and 50 odd seconds. So that is the grid for round 6 of Race on Oz Monday night PC League. We'll come back in about 90 seconds or so, and we'll have this one started very, very shortly. Until then, just sit tight, grab something to drink. Got to be a 2-hour race, so something to eat, maybe a sweet this time of night, a drink, and we'll be back very, very shortly, about 90 seconds. All right, everyone, we are back. And we're just a minute away from getting this one started. Let's see if we can maybe do a little bit of a grid walk here, eh? Controls. There we go. Alright, so let's go for a bit of a tour, shall we? Have a look at the surroundings. That is our grid. What do we have on here? Yeah, right. So you get the bonk. Simbriggs.com. Octane Racing. Mess with the honk, you get the bonk. Alright, cool. What else? So this is our grid. Engine starting. Nando Latenzio with a new livery tonight. Looking very nice. As we can hear the engines starting. And we are going to be heading off momentarily to begin this one. Begin the warm-up lap. As they make their way off the grid. I'll head down, having a look at the roller coaster thing just here as well. So turn one, definitely going to be interesting tonight. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of last week. Lots of chaos. Obviously never intentional. But, you know, it happens. So they're all filtering through. See Lawrenson leading them away. Ethan Cale trying to get some temperatures into those tyres. 17 degrees air temperature, 22 degrees track temperature. It is classified as optimum right now. There is no sign of any rain. And you can see that through the sky. There's the live weather report right there. You like that? How good is that? So a little bit of light cloud cover, about 0.25 worth, I reckon. That's what it's been set at. As they're all making their way through. Where is it where it goes on to the Nordschleife? I can't remember. Somewhere around there. Anyway, I feel like I'm pushing my luck with this one. Yeah, I like the flags on there, the different types of flags. They call this the stadium section. And alright, enough of that. There we go. And there we go. Cool. And we're back. Alright, here's Lawrenson leading them away. Cars weaving around, trying to generate as much pressure, as much heat in the tyres and those brake temperatures as well. What else do we need to go through? So mandatory fuel and tyre stop. Race time, 5 o'clock, a multiplier of 2. It's going to get dark. We're going to get some nice pictures as well. Probably going to maybe push a few graphics cards to the outer limits a little bit. I'll have to just wait and see. Hopefully not mine. And there's all the field just having to catch up. Oh no! Who's in the pits? Ah, it's Johnstone. So he's not made it. Alright, here we go. What is Cooley doing there? He's on the front row of the grid. Here we go. So they're just bunching up now. They'll get side by side. The delightful scene that is. We are about to get started. Race round number 6 of the season 1 of 2023 Race on Oz PC Monday Night League. Once we get the signal, there it is. Number 40 got the drive through. That is Anthony Cesana. Obviously jumped the start there. Looks like Paul Russell got a good start. So did Ethan Cale. Cutely just dropping back into P4 right now as they all filter down into turn 1. Oh, that is Neil Fakeney going around there. So, and that is that's Hildebrandt as well. Stockton, might have been involved a little bit there as well. Let's have a quick look at the replay. We won't go there. Here we go. This will give us a bit more of a better look at it all. Oh, he just outbroke himself. Back end turned around. And that was it. And then that was Hildebrandt as well. So another slightly chaotic start to this one. Not as crazy as last week. And the man out in front, Andrew Lawrenson, will be thinking, yes, it's not me for 2 weeks in a row. He's in the lead of this one. Ethan Cale already into second position, hunting him down straight away. Paul Russell, Cooley, Brayton, Reed has moved up a spot as well. He's going around the outside of Latenzio. That's down there at turn 7. So we've got a pretty active first lap underway, but that's our leader, Lawrence and Cale, Russell, Cooley, Brayton, Van Vliet in there as well. Latenzio manages to fight back and take that position back from James Pierre Reid. Huddy, he's had a good start there in 13th. And looks like they're all filtering through. Looks like we've had a pretty decent start. Most cars have managed to get through unscathed. And it is a very, very familiar sight. This man here, Andrew Lawrenson, leading the pack away in P1 as he goes through the chicane for the first time tonight. Making his way through the final turn to complete the first lap. The first of many. 2-hour enduro tonight. Second and third. Next one we do is going to be at Spa. Van Vliet hunting down drive-through penalty. Yeah, that was with Anthony Susanna at the start, so he'll need to serve that within the next couple of laps. Here's Latenzio. Had a great result last week. Looking to try and repeat the dose. Looks like Green has managed to get past Stockton there. He's down in 19th and 20th. Fighting back here as they go through turn 3. Flick across to the right-hander of turn 4. So some early little scraps happening within the field. That's the gap at the front. So just trying to make sure I'm capturing all of the action. Lawrenson is almost a second clear of his closest competitor in qualifying. That was Cooley, who's dropped down into P4, so he's a little bit further back off these guys. This is Rayton. He's hunting down Cooley as we go on board. We'll have a look with him in the Ferrari, the Selby Acoustics. It's all pretty under control there from Terry Rayton, who's had a great season. Didn't race the first round. From memory, anyway. I'll check my notes in a minute. He missed one of the early ones. Making his way through the final turn now. So Cooley is the man. He's trying to hunt down there in P4. Latenzio all over the back now. All over the back of Nathan Harvey. Going to go around the outside here. Just pushed a little bit wide. And door-to-door racing. Have a look at this. And he's going to get the job done by the looks of it. He does. So Nando Latenzio, can he hold on to it though? James Pierre Reid will want to try and get a little piece of this action as well. So Harvey just having to do some defending at the moment, coming under attack from more comers. Latenzio managed to slip by. Oh, Marsh behind James Pierre Reid as well. Short shifting up the gears, minimising the wheel spin. You could hear that. And so Marsh trying to hunt down Reid. This is 9th and 10th. It's going to give Harvey a little bit of a reprieve. Action's been pretty thick and fast. It's a 1.7 second gap right now between Lawrenson and Cale. So Lawrenson had the pace advantage in qualifying, and it's definitely translating over into the race. Peter Wall now. So it's getting quite spicy here in the mid-pack here. About from 7th through to 12th. We're looking at Peter Wall. He's in 12th position. He's got Paul Huddy just behind him. 2.2 seconds is the gap between Cale and Lawrenson. So Lawrenson stamping his authority early on this one. Let's switch over to Van Vliet, who's chasing down Terry Rayton. This is a nice little grouping here of Cooley, Rayton and Van Vliet. Latenzio is 4.2 seconds off. Paul Russell just at the head of this pack. Terry Rayton just going a little bit defensive. Anthony Susanna, what happened? Oh, he's in the pits. Of course, he's disqualified. Oh, disqualified for not serving his penalty within the allotted laps. So he's done for the evening. We've lost one. Anthony Susanna, not too sure what's happened there. Didn't get the message, and he is out. And Van Vliet managed to get past on Rayton. Let's see if we can bring up the replay. That's at turn 1 there. Coming through turn 2, had the inside running. Rayton having to go wide through there. And the inside line is the optimal line through there for Van Vliet. And he takes that position away. So he moves up into the top 5. So a nice result for him as we go back to live pitches. Cooley's the next one. But out in front, it's this man here, Andrew Lawrenson. He's pulling away in fairly hefty chunks right now. 3.7 seconds is the gap between him and Cale. His last lap around was the fastest of the race. As we're watching Van Vliet and Cooley, Van Vliet and Rayton come through. That was Latenzio as well. Harvey, Marsh coming through. Huddy, Hurley. Oh, how good is this? Stockton coming through. That was cool. There's Green as well. Here's James Pierre-Reid all over the back of Harvey. This has been his race so far, Harvey, coming under attack from everyone. That's Matthew Marsh in the background as well. So he'll be looking to try and make a move on James Pierre-Reid, who's looking to do the exact same thing on Harvey. They're in 8th, 9th and 10th respectively. What's Marsh got here? That's Peter Wall making up lots of ground. So is Huddy in there as well. So this is a nice little grouping. 4.5 seconds is the gap between Andrew Lawrenson and Ethan Cale. 2.2 seconds further back is Paul Russell. 1.2 seconds behind him. Makes that 1.3 is Chris Cooley in 4th. Van Vliet is tucked in under his rear wing right now. 0.3 of a second. And there's what Van Vliet is looking at right now. Comes down through, this is through turn 7. We're already at 5:31 p.m. local time. Multiplier of 2 tonight. So we will see darkness. Will we see weather? We'll have to wait and see. Marsh has dropped a couple of spots to Huddy and Wall. He must have made a little bit of a mistake there. Let's see what happens. I think this is coming down into turn 7. The stadium section. Oh, and he has run a bit wide through there, so that's allowed Wall and Huddy to slip through. So we go back to live pitches. This is live now. This is Van Vliet all over the back of Cooley. Terry Rayton will be trying to take a little bit of advantage of that. I think Van Vliet's got the Gamesman logo on the top of the roof there of the Mercedes he's driving. Makes his way down the front straight, and Harvey is about to lose that position. Have a look at this. This is how tight it is between Harvey and James Pierre-Reid. This is great stuff. Doesn't get much better than this. Who can be the latest of the late breakers? Looks like it's Pierre-Reid. Manages to pull it up and get going again. So nice work from Pierre-Reid. He is now in 8th position. Harvey having to do plenty of defending so far this evening in the very, very early stages of this one. 10 minutes down. And I feel like the race has just settled down nicely. And we're just all settling in now. This is Rayton. The gap out in front is Ethan Cale. Is a 6.1 second gap between he and Andrew Lawrenson, who's in first position. To give you an idea of the pace, the last lap Andrew Lawrenson did was a 1:53.7, the fastest lap of the race. The person chasing him down did a 54.965. So Andrew Lawrenson is locked in and stamping his authority early on this 2-hour enduro around the Nurburgring, round number 6 of season 1 2023 for the PC League. We watch Rayton and Van Vliet now having a look. This is Cooley in front of him, Team Meme. Looks like Marsh managed to get past Huddy. So he's rectified that position from his perspective. This is the view from Van Vliet on Terry Rayton. And these three are all battling it out. Mac and Huddy as well, a little bit further back in 15th and 16th. Wrong camera. There we go. Got it in the end. Love this quarter panel camera. Now from the front and from the rear of Huddy. That's Stockton as well in there. That's not the right one. Got to get in touch with John about getting that livery all sorted out. Got a couple of weeks off, so we'll be able to do that. So this is for 15, 16, 17. The gap out in front, Lawrenson continuing to walk away with it, 8.2 seconds. He's almost going a second a lap faster at the moment. 53.782 was the last lap, and 55.480 was the previous one from Ethan Cale. This is good stuff from RAM leader James Mack. Third last week in class, trying to fend off John Stockton, silver driver. So they're in 16th and 17th. Marsh is all over the back now of Dominiak. Looking to go up the inside. Ooh. Just avoids the contact there at the chicane. They both get away with that. Heather Russell in the chat this evening, as per usual. How are you, Heather? Oh, Huddy, what happened? He's pitting. Okay. So he's making his way into the pits. Mandatory tyres and fuel this evening. Back to Van Vliet. Oh, and Marsh. Looks like he managed to get past Dominiak. Let's see how that eventuated. So we go on board with Dominiak. Marsh just pulling out of the slipstream, and there he goes up the inside. Ooh, runs a little bit deep. He wasn't able to gather it up, so Dominiak able to fight back and take that one. They're going to go side by side again. This is through turn 6, forward curve with a K. Looks like Hildebrand and Mack as well swapping spots. See if we can just pick that one up. Oh, that's right at the very end. So Hildebrand managing to sneak through. He's up into 15th. Plenty of action going on. We'll be back to live pictures momentarily. We'll just finish off this replay as we go 3, 2, 1, and we are back. Let's have a look at Van Vliet. He's all over the back of Cooley. We've got heaps of action going on. This is really fun. So Van Vliet chasing down Cooley, but he's got Terry Rayton just behind him. Let's have a look at lap times as they cross the line. I'll give us a bit of an idea on pace. That's Paul Russell just in the foreground there. So Cooley 55.6, 55.4 to Van Vliet, a 55.2 to Terry Rayton, as Van Vliet going around the outside of Cooley. Can he get it completed? Yes, he does. And Cooley's going to have to be careful here not to fall into the clutches of Terry Rayton. Looks like that car was just swirling a little bit under acceleration, but he's got it all sorted. And Van Vliet having a good start to this one. He started 6th, currently in P4. Terry Rayton will be thinking, I'm going to have a go now at Cooley. We go on board with the Selby Acoustics Ferrari, the number 85. Yeah, Terry Rayton missed the first race. He's finished 6th, 3rd, 8th and 6th. So top 10 finisher. Every race he has contended in so far this season. He's in P6. He's pretty familiar with that position. Getting a little bit of oversteer there, coming out of turn 10, now through 11, short shift up into 3rd. Let's see what the Ferrari's got under the hood here. Would have to be a lot closer there to have a decent run in, leaving the braking nice and late. Those curbs are quite flat, but not flat enough for Cooley. And you saw that just upset the rear of the car. He was lucky not to go around there, Cooley. And these two are going to fight it out. They're going to go side by side down the front straight. Cooley has the slight advantage here. It's Aston Martin versus Ferrari. Hard on the brakes into turn 1. Terry Rayton going around the outside. Look at how close they are right here. This is great stuff, and Terry Rayton manages to get the job done. Great work from him. I'll have to be able to go back and watch that on replay, but it's too far gone at this stage, so my apologies for that. But Chris Cooley now occupying P6, runs a little bit wide through there as well. Next on the card is Nando Latenzio. He's tucked in behind him. There he is, Nando, with the updated livery. Neil Fakeney managing to get the job done on green. We can have a quick look at that, how that came about. This is up the front straight into turn 1. They're going to go side by side. And there it is. Nice work from Fakeney. And he moves up into P18. That's a bit odd. Anyway, we're with Cooley now. Chasing down Rayton. The gap out in front, for those paying attention, it is now 13.2 seconds. We've done 9 laps in total. And the gap is 13 seconds. So that just gives you an idea of the dominance that Andrew Lawrenson is putting on this evening. The dominance that he's showing, I should say. So I'll try and catch as much of the action throughout the field. We've gone 20 minutes already. So it is Lawrenson. Here is Latenzio. Going to try and go around the outside. Yeah. Sorry, I'll just put on that one. That will catch it in the end. And Cooley really coming under attack right now. There he is. And that's Latenzio managing to sneak through. So track's still at optimum. It has dropped 3 degrees. So it's now at 19 degrees. So perhaps conditions changing and not suiting the Aston Martin at the moment. Perhaps those tyre pressures not quite in alignment. and the Aston Martin not really liking it at the moment. Still classified as optimum conditions. 16 degrees air temperature. We're almost at 6 p.m. in game time. Started at 5, multiplier of 2 tonight. Very excited about that. If you couldn't tell, oh, that is not exciting. And this is the replay, and he's just ended up there. That's Johnstone. So something's happened to him there to cause him to remain stationary, and that is where he is. We're going to go back to live pictures in 3, 2, 1, and we're back. And that is where he still is right now. So we'll leave him be for a while. This is Van Vliet chasing down Paul Russell, who's doing a good job right now. He's 3 seconds adrift of Ethan Cale, who's 15.4 seconds behind our race leader, Andrew Lawrenson. Looking for some other battles throughout the field. It's starting to get strung out a little bit here. Last Enduro we did, there was a lot of fuel saving involved. So I'm just trying to jog my memory back where we did do the last Enduro. Was it? I don't think it was Coda, but there was a lot of fuel saving involved. Might have been Watkins Glen. Can't remember it at this stage. Big Dommer. Wheel spun, lost control, wheel alignment got flipped. Oh dear, okay, that does not sound good. Maybe that's, not too sure who that is. Is that, maybe that's Dominic Johnstone, maybe? Big Dommer? Let us know if it is. We've got Van Vliet on the screen. He's chasing down Paul Russell. This is pretty much the closest battle on the circuit. Got a few other scraps under a second. This is Dominiak and Marsh. That's in Marsh's 12th. Dominiak is 13th. Stockton and Mack. Looks like Stockton's had contact with something though at the front. Some witness marks there. So this is now the closest two cars. 17.4 seconds is the gap. Just get the feeling Andrew Lawrenson didn't really enjoy last week's race and has come into this one with a mindset of, I am going to rectify what happened last week. I want to make sure that P14 is struck from the record. P11, whatever it was last week. Wasn't a very Andrew Lawrenson performance, obviously getting caught up in that early race incident. Let's have a quick look over it back at Van Vliet, because these two cars is the closest scrap on the circuit right now. He's chasing down Paul Russell in the number 6 Audi for Pagnian Next Level. Looking from the rear. They're in 3rd and 4th. Might do a quick little update in terms of Silver class. Silver is Nando Latenzio leading the class in 6th outright. Harvey in 9th. Peter Wall in 10th. He's only 8 tenths behind Harvey as well in 9th and 10th there, those two. So that's the podium for Silver. And then for AM, it's Mark Hurley in outright 11th. First in class, James Mack in 2nd, and Green in 3rd. So P19 overall, car number 3, 3rd in class. As we're watching again from the rear. Oh, we see a big slide there from Van Vliet. Let's have another look at that. Might go on board with him there. Come up towards the end of the... Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, that was a big one. Did well to catch that one, Van Vliet. Back to live action. Might step across to Haycock and Stockton. So I wonder if that damage may be a little bit more than cosmetic for Stockton. Last lap around a 58.4, 57 flat to Haycock in the Nissan, holding it down for Pagny Next Level. Gap now at 20 seconds. The difference between Lawrenson and Kale. Lawrenson is not messing about. And neither is Stephen Haycock. Nice work from him. Up through the chicane. And John Stockton says, uno mas? No mas. And he's in. So Heather Russell cheering her brother on. Paul in P3. Might step back to that battle. As Stockton in the pits. Long way home from here, so you'd have to think he'll have to pit twice. The last enduro that we did do, Paul Russell went to do a two-stopper from memory. So I'm sure that will be going through his mind this evening. Just trying to think of the circuit that we were at. Round 9 recap. Yeah, Watkins Glen it was. There you go. Watkins Glen was the enduro. The last one, and then the next one will be Spa to finish off the season. We've still got 90 plus minutes left in this one. We're looking from the rear of the number 6 Audi. Paul Russell does a 55.922. Van Vliet goes 4/10 faster on that lap. So that is the difference between he and Paul Russell right now. That's Ethan Kale up ahead as well. Last lap around he did a 56.380. So that's definitely slower than these two guys, and that's just meant that he's fallen back a little bit into the clutches, you might say, of Russell and Van Vliet for second, third, and fourth is all up for grabs right now. P1 though, Andrew Lawrenson, he is a mile out in front. 22.4 seconds is the gap between him and this man on screen. Last lap around, he did a 54.227, and that is just on another planet compared to the other lap times in the field. So he's absolutely flying as second, third, and fourth go blasting past. We're having a look at P4 right now. This is Van Vliet. So 4/10 was the advantage to him on the previous lap. On the previous lap as well, he had a little moment through there. Not so much this time around. He's all good. So he's going to try and make up a little bit of ground there through the chicane. Quickly duck across to Stephen Haycock, who's all over the back of James Mack. I don't want to step away from this too early though, because you know as soon as we do, something will happen. Nothing doing yet into turn 1 through turn 2. The long left-hander. Where are you, Stephen Haycock? Here he is. So you're going to make a move into the chicane. No, he isn't. Bouncing the Nissan through there, giving chase to the Audi. Audi doesn't like the bumps. So James Mack will not be enjoying that section of the circuit. Oh, here we go. So Haycock winding up the Nissan. This is looking pretty good right now. Who can break the latest into turn 1? Haycock's got the inside line, and he gets the job done. Manages to pull it up. He'll have the inside line for turn 2, and he completes it. Job done. P15 taken. Good job for him. Having a nice race there for Pagny Next Level. Van Vliet now, he is all over the back of Paul Russell. What was the last lap time from Kale as well? So he might be struggling a little bit. Track temperature 18 degrees. Air temperature 16, still at optimum. Ethan Kale did a 56 flat that last lap around. Russell did a 55.4, 55.3 to Van Vliet. So Kale potentially struggling. We saw Cooley struggle a little bit earlier on. And Marcus Van Vliet, the Gamesman Racing Team, hunting down the number 6 Audi of Paul Russell. So give us a bit more of an indicator of pace. 55.997 to Kale, 56 flat to Russell, and a 56.1 to Van Vliet. So whatever was ailing Ethan Kale, it only lasted a lap, but still the gap is only 4 tenths. You can see there. We go on board with Paul Russell. That car up ahead will be lap traffic. So here the it's a hydraulic, what was it? I won't go into it. For the braking. Anyway, not that technically minded. As you can see, these three though, this is the second, third and fourth. Having a look back there from Kale. Oh, he got a little bit untidy through there. Van Vliet manages to hold on to it though. So that will cost him a little bit of time. So he'll fall away from these two. Give Paul Russell a little bit of respite. And do him the favour of being able to just focus, eyes forward. Got the lights ablaze. The Enduro lights are on. 6:19 in-game time. Start to see that golden hour sunshine. Circuit bathed in it. See the sun eventually setting. And Russell all over the back of Kale as they go up the front straight. Oh no! So lucky he saw him then. That could have been disaster. He's going to go up the inside here on Kale anyway, so it's going to work out alright for Russell. And he gets through. Let's have a look on the replay. We'll see if we can catch up with it here. So yeah, look at this. So he just goes, oh, nah, I can't go right. I've got to go left. I'll tuck back in again. And I'll stick to the plan. I'll go down the inside. And he does exactly that. And puts Kale in his rear view mirror. So we're back to live action now. Nice work from Paul Russell. He moves up into P2. Having a great race. Van Vliet just dropped off the back of these guys. He's 2.3 seconds down the road. A little bit further down the road in P13, in fact, is Dominiak. He's chasing down Marsh and Hurley. Hurley, the highest of the AM drivers, 11th outright. Great result for him so far. So in terms of lap times amongst these three, 58.6, 58.1, 57.7. So Dominiak holding the advantage of the two cars in front of him. Just needs to work out a way how we can convert that speed advantage into an overtake. A few other cars as well in tight tussles. 16th, James Mack and Neil Fakeney in 17th. Evertron and Green battling it out as well down there, and Harvey is half a second behind James Pierre Reid, who's occupying 8th position right now. So Harvey's got Peter Wall 1.8 seconds up the road from him. So we go on board with Marsh, having a look at the Bruce Hale Racing Honda, the number 77 to Dominiak. Past the quarter-way mark already. Be very, very interesting to see who's going to try and stretch it out and make it a one-stopper. The lead at the moment in P1, Andrew Lawrenson, 30.6 seconds is the gap between he and P2, Paul Russell. Oh, Wally Masterson. What happened, Wally? Oh, no! Whatever happened, it did not look good. Let's see if we can catch it here. Is that Terry Rayton coming through? I think it is, yeah. Oh, this is into turn 4 by the looks of it. Oh, Latenzio! Ah, that was really awkward. And giving him a fair punt off there as well. Not intentional from Latenzio. Leave that one for the post-race. Trusted Drivers Panel can take a look at that if there's an issue logged with it. This is Pierre Reid and Harvey though. TDP will automatically look at first lap incidents, but after that you got to log your own. And Pierre Reid has managed to sneak past Harvey again, so they did swap positions momentarily, and the Mercedes driver has resumed his spot in 7th. Harvey, though, is determined to take it back in that BMW for Pagnian Next Level, the number 86. They go through the chicane. These big, heavy front-engine cars handle those curbs, no dramas. Head along the front straight. That's Peter Wall. He is in this little scrap 4th position. So Reid 7th, 8th Harvey, 9th Wall. Reid the Pro, silver to Harvey and Wall. Status driver is what I'm referring to. 32.5 seconds the gap now between Lawrenson and Russell. Last lap around for Lawrenson at 54.425. No one is doing 54s. No one is even doing 55s. He is literally in a class of his own, Andrew Lawrenson. He is one determined driver out there right now. Is he more determined than Nathan Harvey? Potentially so. This has been a nice little battle between Pierre Reid and Harvey. Sparks flying from the rear of the Salty Acoustics Mercedes. They're going to go side by side here. This is through turn 10 now. The right-hander of 11. Have a look at this. Super close racing. I reckon they might have made a little tiny bit of contact there, just a little bit of rubbing. Looking from the rear of Harvey, Pierre Reid. Will he launch an attack into the chicane? No, he doesn't. And he'll have Wall to contend with as well. Stu Barkley, my man, what is going on? How are ya? Oh, Marsh has managed to get through on Mark Hurley and Hildebrandt. Where are you? Oh, there he is. So that is just after the chicane. He's had a little bit of an off. Let's just see how that came about. So he's going through the right-hander of 12 and pulling it up for the chicane here. Or just the bump on the entry unsettled the car, and that's a good save. He doesn't have any dramas with any damage there. And Pierre Reid and Harvey, let's have a look at that. That deserves a replay, I reckon. So Harvey had already gotten past. I have missed it, and Peter Wall is putting plenty of pressure on now. Pierre Reid, as we'll go back to live pictures in a couple of seconds. Here we are, we're back, and this is how we found them. So Harvey, Reid and Wall, that's 7th, 8th and 9th right now. Dominiak all over the back of Mark Hurley, the AM driver. I'm good, thanks, Stu. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the action. Still got another 80 minutes of this left. It's going to be a late night tonight. East Coast time anyway, 10 to 10. That's the beauty of work from home, right? Here's Fake Knee now. Come on, Mr. Cameraman, keep up. He's got James Mack just up ahead of him. He's P2 in the AM class at the moment. And we're having a look at Fake Knee, the lead. 34 seconds. I usually try to like to do like an onboard for a lap of the leader when they're out this far in front, but just waiting for it to kind of settle down a little bit. We'll make sure I try and do that. 5-1-2 has a stop-go penalty. Who is that? That's Herbertron. So that's a little bit of salt in the wound right now because he's in P20 right now. We only have 21 runners. So he will not be enjoying that news. In the meantime, though, Van Fleet closing up under brakes on the rear of Kale. So Kale last lap around at 56.7 was an invalidated lap. Just worth noting. Terry Rayton now snuck up on these guys as well. Less than a second. There he is. And Latenzio. Is that Latenzio? It is. It is Nando Latenzio there as well in P6. So these guys all starting to group up a little bit tighter as Van Vliet gets a little bit agricultural coming out of turn 11. That's Terry Rayton for company. Sparks flying from the rear of the car as they hustle over the chicane. And they go side by side through the final turn. This is all playing into the hands of Latenzio though, so as these two scrap, this is going to open up more and more opportunity for Latenzio to try and make up a couple of spots. Rayton looking to dart down the inside. Latenzio has made up plenty of ground under brakes. And so Van Vliet under full attack here from Terry Rayton, the number 85 Ferrari for Selby Acoustics Racing. What was a two-way battle has turned into a three-way battle between these two. This is 4th, 5th and 6th. This is great racing out on track. That's Ethan Kale a little bit further up ahead. He's P3. And we just caught a glimpse of Paul Russell in there as well. They're all duking it out. 36 seconds is the gap between Lawrenson and Paul Russell right now. And this is 4th, 5th and 6th that we're looking at. A couple of other little battles going on. Harvey and Reed are continuing their scrap in 7th and 8th. Very small margin between those two. Dominiak and Hurley in 11th and 12th. And Fakeney and Mack in 15th and 16th are all doing battle. Keep it on the front cars for now. We'll see how this shakes out. But yeah, they're all chasing down Andrew Lawrenson. Doing it easy. Once again, lapping in the 54s. Only car to be doing that is the number 88 BMW for Beyond Trophies Racing. Oh, here's Fakeney now. All over the back of James Mack. This is turn 7, the stadium section, right-hander. Can't quite get anything done there at this stage. We'll just stick with it for a little while longer. So we cross over the 45-minute mark, so we're approaching halfway. Yet to see stops from the front runners. They're going to try and stretch it out on fuel. I think Andrew Lawrenson has opened up a big enough gap that he can decide what he wants to do, whether a one-stop or a two-stop. I'm sure Paul Russell will have thoughts of Watkins Glen floating through his head right now as he sits in P2. Will he go a one-stopper or a two-stopper tonight? We'll wait and see. The further we go into it, the more likely that one-stopper is going to evolve. Thanks, Captain Obvious, but you know what I'm talking about. Ooh, Rayton just closed up there on Van Vliet. He's got action from behind and action from in front. More sparks flying from the rear of the Mercedes belonging to Marcus Van Vliet. Dominiak and Hurley. Is this going to be a move here? This is going into turn 6, the right-hander. We go on board Hurley, looking from the rear. Dominiak sending it around the outside. And that's teammates, BHR team members. Just trying to get the optimum camera angle. That ain't it. There we go. So Dominiak gets the job done. Nice work from him. Back to the action at the front of the field. 4th, 5th and 6th, sorry. Ethan Cale, 56.4 on that last one. 56.6 to Van Vliet, 56.8 to Rayton, 56.8 to Latenzio as well. Harvey was faster than the other. No, he wasn't. He was 57. So they're safe for now. As the sun will be setting a little bit further. It's almost 7 o'clock in game time. That's in the PM, not the AM. Do we like the bumper cam? What's the interior? Or do we like the really low splitter cam? I actually like that one a little bit better. So going up through, that's through 8 and 9 now. That's the Michael Schumacher S's. Well, it looks like we've got another little three-way battle going on with Reed and Wall, as well as Harvey. So Harvey 7th, Reed 8th, Wall 9th. We've got plenty of action happening throughout the circuit. Bathed in sunshine. How much longer we'll have to wait and see. Track has dropped a degree. Now it's 16 degrees. Air temperature is 15. No weather on the way. So here we go. Terry Rayton winding up the Ferrari for Selby Acoustics. Up the front straight. Tucks into the slipstream of the Mercedes. Looks to send it down the inside. Can't quite get a move done there. Still just got to continue to apply some more pressure to Van Vliet. Can he absorb it? Little mistake there. Oh, this is great stuff from these two drivers. Rayton looking for a way past. That's invited Latenzio though. This is a three-way fight. 4th, 5th and 6th right now on the track. Ethan Cale has managed to just slip away. He hasn't invalidated another lap. So I only mention that because I've had an instance so long ago. I know this is not a track like Coda where it's as strict, but just thought it's worth mentioning. Keep on seeing red next to his name. Fingers crossed he doesn't get one. Get the dreaded track limits time penalty, but just thought it's worth noting at this stage. So one to keep an eye on as these three continue to battle it out. Fast approaching the halfway mark. This would almost be just the sprint race distance would be going into the final 10 minutes, but Got another sprint race. There's more sparks flying through the chicane. Brayton. Don't think he'll have an opportunity this time around. Sun starting to set. That's the driver view there. So sun in the eyes into turn 1. Now they've got some lap traffic. That's Hildebrandt up ahead. Just trying to see who the other car is. A little bit more sun glare. So these guys will be welcoming the... oh no, what's happened here? Ooh, that's awkward. Who's that? Is that Lawrenson coming through? It was Lawrenson coming through. So let's see what happened to these guys. That was really lucky for him. Tell you what, that's the only thing that could stop him right now. Oi, that was the send up the inside from Fakeney. And just made a little bit of contact there. Oh, and that was Lawrenson just managing to sneak through there. So that was down in 13th and 14th. Those two drivers will go back to live pitches. So those two have still been able to continue on. So that's all good. As mentioned, TDP, look at the first lap. After that, you will need to lodge a protest if you wish. Not suggesting that that will come of that, but if either of them want to go down that path, that is what they would need to do. It was redress though, and that seems to be the common theme. If you do redress, the penalty will be less severe than if you didn't. Here we go again. Terry Rayton having another look at the rear bumper of Marcus Van Vliet. Up the front straight one more time. They've done 27 laps so far, just to give you an idea in terms of lap count. And that is the view from inside the cockpit. A little bit of sun glare. Oh, he thought about it then, Terry Rayton. He was like, oh, will I have a go? Won't I have a go? And he has had a go. And I think, can he make this work? Here we go. Up the inside. Just trying to get a good camera angle on it. Oh, and look at this. Latanzio is trying to get himself a piece of the pie. So Van Vliet just fallen into the clutches of Rayton. He worked hard for that one, Terry Rayton. Going back on board. The splitter cam of Latanzio. So Van Vliet. More sparks flying. Latanzio, a little bit of understeer there. So perhaps just a slight reprieve. Mark Hurley is in the pits. We are 6 minutes away from the halfway mark. So they're going to be able to do a one-stopper. It's looking likely at this stage. I'm really digging this camera angle tonight. Oh, look at that. Mercedes handled it a little bit better than the Honda. Honda not as stable across the curbs there. Latanzio though, having a look. Who was that coming out of the pits? I think that was... who was that? Not too sure. It looked like it might have been Marsh. Potentially. Ooh, here we go. Hildebrandt and Hurley. They've swapped positions down there. They're just behind this little pack that we're looking at. Peter Wall has managed to get past Pierre Reid, who's coming into the pits. Ooh, this is a very interesting time to pit as well. We'll get back to that in a moment. Having a look at Latanzio once again all over the back of Van Vliet, who's in P5. Rayton's just opened up a little gap. Enough breathing room for him on Van Vliet. So Van Vliet has got his hands full right now with Lattanzio chasing him down. 15 degrees track temperature, 14 degrees air temperature. So as the sun goes down, so does the temperature. The action is still continuing though. I was going to say, is still heating up. Kind of hasn't stopped being warm, to be honest. Like, it's been good stuff throughout. Unfortunately, we haven't had a massive scrap for the lead. And speaking of the lead, here's Lawrenson. So he's in the pits right now. Paul Russell will come through the final turn. He will take the race lead momentarily. For how long? We'll have to wait and see. But hour 3 indicates to me there's probably going to be some pretty hard fuel saving towards the end of this one. And Lawrenson's still in the pits. Yeah, that was a time of 56:57, still counting. Time stopped was 32 seconds. Pierre Reid was stopped for 35. And Lawrenson's total pit time was 1 minute and 1 second. So, gives you a bit of an idea. Hildebrandt, 1 minute 5. 1 minute 9 to Hurley, 1 minute 6 to Huddy. And yeah, he was stopped for a total of 32 seconds. So, Rayton and Van Vliet, they've both pitted at the same time as well. Ooh, this is going to be nice and interesting between those two. Let's see who's going to win the pit road race. They should be getting going any second now. Yep, there's Rayton. And he was ahead of Van Vliet. Lattanzio was the one chasing Van Vliet down, and there he goes. So, will Lattanzio respond? That is going to be the question. He's sitting in P3. So Lattanzio sitting in third, Kale second, and he was our race leader. Is that Lawrence just tucked in behind? No, I think it might have been Marsh. Or is Marsh even out now? Can't see him anywhere, but Russell in, Kale in, and Lawrenson is about to go in the lead. Go. So he resumes P1. There he goes, our new race leader. Resumes his position. So Russell has already stopped. Kale having to go all the way down. Oh, what's happened to you, Andrew Green? That was out of turn 4. He's back underway. He's good. How good are the team liveries? Awesome. They are pretty good, aren't they? There's been a lot of work done by these guys in the liveries, so it is a bit nerve-wracking to try and make sure I've got them every week. John Stockton I've got to work on, but everyone else is pretty good. One of the awesome parts of this game on PC, as Paul Russell, off he goes, so he will maintain his position over Ethan Kale. Where are you, Ethan Kale? He stops. So Paul Russell stopped for 32 seconds, and so did Ethan Kale stopped for 36 as Terry Rayton just sneaking through there. So was he behind Terry Rayton? I think he was, so nice work from him. 32, they both stopped. Paul Russell and Rayton both had identical stops, 1 minute 2, 32 seconds stationary, and Ethan Kale 36 seconds stationary and 1 minute 5. So perhaps he might have had a little bit of difficulty, maybe, or did he just fill up a little bit more? We're going to have to wait and see. And we're almost at the halfway mark. There we are. And Van Vliet and Haycock, this is for position. Van Vliet has just recently pitted. Got got his stop out of the way. Haycock yet to stop. One of about sort of 3, 6, 9, 10 drivers. So almost half the field. We're down to 20. So half the field have pitted, half the field haven't. And Van Vliet gets the job done. So he moves up a spot into 9th for now. Lattanzio, here we go. So this was the battle we were looking at. Van Vliet and Lattanzio. How long has he been in there for, Nando? 30 seconds, 45, 48 seconds now. This is going to be close. He drops. Van Vliet coming around the final turn. Here's Lattanzio. This is going to be pretty close. Here's Van Vliet. Here's Lattanzio. And are we going to see Van Vliet just slip through? We are. There he goes. And he maintains his position. So Lattanzio will have the job left to do. Green is having another little excursion there. Anyway, yeah. But Lattanzio will have to hunt down Van Vliet in 8th position. But we've got Andrew Lawrenson still leading this one. Harvey, Wall, Haycock has made his way into the pits, so he's making his stop now. Peter Wall in 3rd at this stage. He is yet to stop. So is the car in front of him and the car behind him. So 2nd, 3rd and 4th all yet to stop. So that would put Russell and Rayton in 2nd and 3rd. They're a long way off our race leader though. That's Andrew Lawrenson, who's been in dominating form tonight. Put it on pole position by almost a second. And ever since then, he's been opening up about a second a lap gap on these guys. On the rest of the field, I should say. As Peter Wall, he makes his way into the pits. This is Dominiak and Russell in 4th and 5th. This is 4th position. And it looks like Dominiak has decided to pit as well. So that'll be his mandatory stop completed. So Russell inherits P3. And it won't be too long until he's P2 again, as Nathan Harvey still needs to pit as Peter Wall making his way down a slightly bumpy pit lane. Dominiak doing the same thing. There he goes. He'll make his stop and we'll let those guys do their thing down there. In the meantime, we're going to have a look at Green, Hurley, Hildebrand and Huddy. This is in 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. Have a look at this. Awesome foursome. And that's Haycock in there as well. So this is 4th position. We're looking at Hurley right now, the AM driver. He's currently P3 in class. And he's got Hildebrand in the 111 BMW for Ignition Control Racing. He's got Huddy for company. Oop, wrong one. There we go. You can see Paul Huddy there. Newcomer last week. He makes a little bit of contact. That was Morse code for can you please move out of the way? I'm trying to get past. Oh, look at this. Haycock wants to get a piece of the action in the Nissan as well. So head down into turn 1. Hurley and Green as well. Have a look at this. This is great stuff between these 5 cars right now. A couple of positions swapped. Hurley trying to get past Hildebrand. I think he's going to be able to do it. Here he is. And then Hildebrand's going to have to hold off Huddy. And then Haycock will have to reset and have another go at these guys. So this is great stuff. Down here in the mid-pack. That's Hildebrand having a big go. That's brought him undone though, because Huddy allowed him to close the gap. track temperature is now at 14 degrees. So it's gone even lower. It's matching the air temperature. So now that sun has gone down, you can kind of feel how cold it would be out there as well. Circuit once bathed in sunshine. No more. Have a look at this. This is great racing here between Hildebrand and Hurley up ahead. They've got green that they're all chasing down. Hurley runs a little bit wide. We're on board with Huddy. He's got the box seat. Have a look at these two going at it. That's Hildebrand on the left, Hurley on the right. They're going to go through the sweeping right-hander at turn 12. Hildebrand going around the outside. Huddy looking to do the same thing. Stephen Haycock just watching on as these two drivers swap positions. And in the end, Huddy moves up a spot. Hildebrand moves up a spot, but Hurley drops back a couple. And they'll continue on around turn 15 and start another lap for this one. 34 of them have gone past. And we've still got 53 and a half minutes remaining in this 2-hour enduro. This is round number 6 of the Race on Oz PC season. And this is great stuff. Down here in 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. That's Haycock just putting the move on Hurley. I wonder if he might be starting to struggle a little bit with these lower temperatures as well. Perhaps. Seen a couple of other Mercedes sort of fall off in a little bit of performance. Have a look at Hildebrand now. Oh, did they make contact there? Not too sure. Oh, and they've got Huddy in here as well now for company. So he's going to go down the inside. This is into the right-hander, turn 7 through the stadium section. And they'll work their way up through the Michael Schumacher S's. But Hildebrand takes the position away from Huddy. We're looking back from the rear of the ICR 111 BMW. Lights ablaze now on all of these cars. 7:29 in-game time. I think it was 8 o'clock qualifying time. So we're getting back to that time of the day. And the action is hot on circuit right now between Green, Hildebrand, Huddy, Haycock, and Hurley in there as well. Haycock looking to go around the outside at the chicane. Oh, cuts the curb, gets a little touch from behind. That's enough to spear him off the circuit, but not too far, and he'll be able to re-enter the fray momentarily. Just have to reset himself and go again. Look at Stephen Haycock though. He's been the big winner out of all this. So is Huddy. So Green was ahead of all of these guys. He's dropped down into 13th. Oh, look at him coming into turn 1 as well. Hildebrand, he'll be pretty fired up after his little excursion there. And Hurley will feel like he's in a bit of a washing machine right now, going back and forth, up and down, up the standings as Hildebrand moves up another spot. And Haycock has now got Huddy in the Audi, the number 41 Audi for Pagnian Next Level. This is all happening down in 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. The reason we're looking here is the gap out in front. Andrew Lawrenson continues to circulate in the 54s, the only driver to do so. 54.612 was his last lap. He's 42 seconds ahead of Nathan Harvey, who's in P2, yet to pit, one of 4 drivers yet to pit in the field. And Paul Russell is a further 10 seconds behind him, so it's almost a minute the lead between next second. Ooh, here's Hildebrand having a look on Green. He moves up a spot into 13th. So Green was at the head of this pack, and now he's at the rear of it. We'll be hoping that his go on the yo-yo is the up one, upturn shortly. Try and keep Mark Hurley behind him, and No mas. He's in the pits. There he goes. So, that was a lot of fun. That was good stuff between this little group of cars. But Green and Huddy both in the pits, and that's both their first stop and only stop of the race. We'll see where they shake out, but plenty of action would be good for them. Just get a little bit of a breather, resettle themselves, and get ready for the remaining 49 odd minutes left of this one. Once again, just that bumpy pit lane, but it is this man here, Andrew Lawrenson. He has the number one flashing on the right-hand side of the windscreen, and it almost might be burnt out by the end of this one because he's been in P1 for almost the entirety, 9/10 of a second ahead in qualifying, and pretty much we have not seen him since. So I think now is as good a time as any. That was Peter Wall. He is a lapped car right now. So I think now is as good a time as any. Let's do a lap on board with Andrew Lawrenson. Let's see what is this man doing that is putting him clearly ahead of the pack. His last lap around was a 54.1. We'll just see what this one is. Very aggressive there through the chicane. He's all over it. See what lap this is, and then we'll go on board and I'll shut up for a lap and we can have a look at the man work. 54.172, he's flying. Let's have a look. And that's a lap of the Nurburgring with our race leader. That lap was a 54.307. It was invalidated. James Pierre Reid has managed to get past Harvey, who is on the track. Those two have been going back and forth for a little while now. But that was Andrew Lawrenson, a lap of the Nurburgring. He is... that car looked pretty much planted. There was no feathering of the throttle. There's no jabs in it. The steering inputs were nice and smooth. That was a pretty good illustration of why he is 57 seconds ahead of Paul Russell sitting in P2. He could only wish that he was 57 seconds ahead of Terry Rayton. Unfortunately for him, he's only 1.1 seconds ahead. So Terry Rayton, that last lap around, did a 55.222. That was about a second quicker than Paul Russell on that previous lap. So Russell might have might have made a little mistake there on that previous one. As we mentioned, the Ferrari just sliding about. So track temperatures continued to fall. It is now 13 degrees. Track's still considered optimum though. 7:45 in the evening in game time. So it gives you a bit of a state of the race right now. We might flick across to Neil Fakeney. He's in the Ignition Controls Racing Lamborghini. He is hunting down John Stockton in P15. Catching up. So Nathan Wilson wasn't able to make it. Glenn Stimpson wasn't able to make it tonight. Anton Shez, I won't repeat what he said on air, but not particularly happy with this game. I think Wally, not too sure, he's smacked up twice, he's out. And Matthew Marsh, sorry for my sudden departure, lost my server connection, never had that before. Shame, I was enjoying the race. It is a shame. So that explains the departure of a few. That's why we've got 20 drivers remaining, 43, almost 44 minutes in time remaining in this one. And we're watching Neil Fakeney have a look at John Stockton as they go through turn 12. Flames belching out from the side. That Aston Martin up ahead. That's Nando Latenzio in the background. This is not for position. He's currently sitting P6 right now. So this would be lap traffic for him. Blue flags are waving. We can see that there. Neil Fakeney just moving out of the way. There he goes. He brakes nice and hard. Lets Nando through, and away he goes. Back to this little scrap here. Paul Russell, 55.877. 55.277. So 6/10 exactly the difference in lap times in favour of Terry Rayton on that last lap around. So this is the battle for second and third. They've got James Mack, the AM driver, just getting out of the way. He's currently P2 in class. Mark Hurley is leading that class. Silver class is belonging to Nando Latenzio right now, with Nathan Harvey and Peter Wall second and third. So they got 42.5 minutes to hang on to take out a podium for silver class. Hurley, Mack and Green the same in the AM class. And Paul Russell is going to have a fight on his hands with Terry Rayton making up ground on the number 6 Audi for Pagnan Next Level. 3 different teams occupying the 3 top spots. Tight for P2 and P3 in the championship. Bruce Hull Racing and Gamesman Racing Team separated by only a point at the moment. Beyond Trophies Racing certainly has the stranglehold on the championship 2/3 of the way through the season. No GRT got an advantage on Bruce Hull Racing. 5th and 6th right now. The highest BHR car is currently P10. As Russell and Rayton continue to go at it. Just a little bit further back from these guys, about 6.5 seconds down the road. This is the picture. Ethan Cale and Marcus Van Vliet in 4th and 5th. Cale a 55.862, a 55.912 to Van Vliet. So slight advantage to the number 52 Mercedes. Last week's race winner, Ethan Cale. We're hoping he can work his way onto the podium, but plenty of work left to do in the final 40 minutes and a bit left in this one. As Rayton making up more ground under brakes as they go through the turn number 7 up through the hill, through the Michael Schumacher S's. Almost 8 p.m. in game time. Lights from the cars having more and more an effect. It's a third of a second the gap between Van Vliet and Cale, so I'll flick in between these two. This is good that we've got action at the pointy end of the field. on board with Van Vliet. Both Mercedes. Look at that. They just climb those curbs. No dramas at all. Here we go. Terry Rayton. Ooh, having a look. Ooh, made up some nice ground. Van Vliet looking to do the same on Ethan Cale right now, going around the inside. He'll have the inside run for turn number 2, but can't quite get up far enough. So Van Vliet, top 5 position for him on the line right now. Ethan Cale, multiple time race winner in this league, in this season, sorry. Round 3 and round 5 took home victory. He's stepped onto the podium every single race he's contended so far. So he'll be looking to continue that trend. He's got 7.7 seconds to make up the difference between these two just up ahead, Russell and Rayton. So can Rayton have another go? Makes up a little bit of ground. Just needs a slightly stronger run off that final turn. What about Cale and Van Vliet? No, there's no change there. What about Fakeney and Stockton? Here we go. Go on board with Fakeney. It up just in time. Rayton all over the back for Russell. Last lap around a 55.347 to Russell, a 55.390 to Rayton. So nothing in it between these two. Audi versus Ferrari. Pagni Next Level versus Selby Acoustics. Second and third. Podium position on the line for these two. Don't want to make a mistake. Dearly climbing the curbs through the Schumacher S's. Russell doing fantastic as well to hold off Rayton. So you'll see that yellow Ferrari in his rearview mirror. It's all about holding his nerve, absorbing the pressure and continuing on. Good to see Paul Russell having a good run as well. Had a little bit of bad luck to start the season. See him fighting back and up there in contention. He goes up the front straight again. And way too far back. This time around. What about Van Vliet and Cale? Well, that gap has opened up to 1.3 seconds. So last lap around, Ethan Cale a 55.575, a 56.142, so 0.6 of a second. The difference in lap speed on that last time around, advantage to Cale. Some other scraps down through the pack. This is Hildebrandt. That's a past 4 position. So Hildebrandt moves up into P11. Nice work from him. Neil Fakeney. That's not a good camera angle. Here we go. He's still battling it out with John Stockton. They're down in 15th and 16th position. He usually has a different livery, Neil Fagney, so I'm not too sure if I've missed something there, or it's a all black livery for a particular reason. I'm not too sure, but anyway, he's chasing down the Aston Martin belonging to John Stockton as they go through the right-hander of turn 7. Let's get back to these two here. Brayton and Russell. So Paul Russell being cheered on in the chat by his sister Heather. Watching her brother defending from Terry Rayton. Again. Ooh, just having a little look. Must be so tempting. I feel like Terry Rayton's just happy to sit tight for now. Still time on his side. 33.5 minutes left. These two are still battling it out. A 56.332 to Kale. A 55.627. So, Van Vliet having a look here. That was out at turn 3 into turn 4. So this battle is just heating up as well. Lights ablaze on the two Mercedes. And great stuff from these two drivers. Terry Rayton all over the back, continuing to just probe away at the rear wing of the number 6 Audi belonging to Paul Russell. Paul Russell doing a fantastic job to keep the Ferrari driver behind him. As they head down through the sweeping turn 12, the right-hander. He's close enough here to launch an attack. What about Van Vliet and Kale? And that's a repeat of what we saw of the two cars just up ahead. Let's have a look now from the rear of the Audi. And Rayton's not really any closer than what he has been on previous laps. Make up a bit of ground under brakes. Bit of a sharper line there from Paul Russell. Now let's see Van Vliet and Kale do the same thing. And Van Vliet almost outbraked himself there. Almost made contact with the rear of the Mercedes belonging to Ethan Kale. That not what we would have wanted. The sparks coming off the rear. Might even see some glowing exhaust as well. There they are. Glowing disc brakes as well, potentially. With the sun going down. Darkness falling across the circuit. 13 degrees air temperature. 13 degrees truck temperature. Still at optimum conditions out there. Two Mercedes battling it away for 4th and 5th right now. The gap between Rayton and Russell just eked out to a second now. So potentially Rayton, just sliding around a little bit there. So I just made a couple of small little mistakes that's just opened up a bit of breathing room for Paul Russell as they go through turn 12 again. And Rayton significantly further back than what we've seen him on previous laps. Let's have a look how this one transpires between 4th and 5th, Kale and Van Vliet. And much of the same again. So we are about to move into the final quarter of this race. 30 minutes left. I'm not going to lie, pretty tired. I really want to go to bed. But I'm going to stick around. Here's Van Vliet. He doesn't want to go to bed. He's all pumped up. Go side by side into turn 1. Hard under brakes. Kale defending. Van Vliet just looking for a way past. These two Mercedes evenly matched. Kale 56.550. 56.3 to Van Vliet. Both invalidated their last lap around. Gear's this? Third gear? No, second gear. Up through third. Haven't seen any flashing. No flashing lights. All been very gentlemanly. Terry Rayton's just a gap now. At 1.1 second gap between he and Paul Russell. And Kale flat out through there. Let's have a look at Haycock. Here we go. So a little bit further back in the park. This is 10th and 11th. Hildebrandt trying to hold on for a top 10 finish. Haycock hanging on for 11th right now. ICR Hildebrandt and the next level Nissan belonging to Haycock. What about Nathan Harvey as well? So he and Pierre Reid. This has been a great battle between these two guys all night. The pro driver and silver driver. Nathan Harvey putting on a fine display. 56.8 was his last lap around. Reid was a 57.5. So this is starting to develop into a nice little scrap. Rayton just marginally closed up the gap between he and Russell. So it's now at 7/10. Van Vliet, it's half a second, and it's 4/10 of a second. Ooh, Van Vliet just making up a bit of ground there through turn 2 and 3. Now out of 4, the right-hander. "27 minutes to go." Oh, get a big strong coffee for the last half hour, mate. I will not go to sleep. I can't drink coffee after 12 o'clock. Midday, otherwise I'm all over the place. I will not get to sleep. I'll be right. I'll pull through, but thanks for your concern, Stu. I'll pull through. We'll be good. I'll be here right to the very end. 26 minutes and 50 seconds away, that is. So Van Vliet, continues to try and hunt down Kale in 4th and 5th. Rayton, 6/10, 5/10 a second. 5/10 of a second the gap between he and Russell in for 2nd and 3rd. Harvey and Reid. So we've got some late race battles happening. It's all of a sudden just peaked up very, very nicely to finish off the final half an hour of this, and the final, well, the second third of the season will be in the books after this one. We'll take a week's break, and then we'll be back. I think we're at Alton Park next time around. Talk about bumpy. That circuit is extremely bumpy. I think the console guys are racing there tomorrow night. Raced there last week. This is Dominiak and Wall. Let's go back to Rayton and Russell. Russell continues to keep the Ferrari driver behind him. This has been going on for some time now. And Russell been doing a fantastic job. With all the pressure coming from Terry Rayton, has not made a mistake. There's a puff of dust up ahead. That's a lap car. I think that's Hurley up ahead. We're on board with Rayton. Yeah, that's Hurley and Haycock. Hurley, Haycock, and Hildebrandt. And that was probably the closest we've seen Terry Rayton to the rear of the Audi belonging to Paul Russell. So go up through the S's again. To the left-hander, turn 10. Rayton just fighting the car ever so slightly, correcting the oversteer. Oh, and Reed and Harvey. We've got a swapping of position. Oh, have a look at this. This is great stuff. Reed slipping up the inside. So, I'm not going to lie. I've been impressed with Nathan Harvey the last couple of weeks. This little block of 3 weeks, he's been doing great. Nathan Harvey. So, shout out to him. He's been driving fantastic. He's been mixing it up with the pro drivers. I know nothing about him. But obviously being a silver driver, he makes a little bit of contact. Not necessarily a pro driver, but he's been mixing it up with the pro driver guys and been doing a fantastic job of it. So Nathan Harvey, tip of the cap to you. That's Nando Latenzio just up behind those guys. He is currently sitting in P19. What's happened to Nando? He was right up there at one stage. Not too sure what's happened to him. Ooh, let's go check out this battle though. Dominiak and Wall. Have a look at this. That's I think that's Stockton, but that's not for position for Stockton. It is for Dominiak and Peter Wall though. Peter Wall's going to fight back. Oh, that's Andrew Green there. Just getting himself into a little bit of mischief there through turn 11, I think that was. Yep, he's back underway again. And Dominiak gets the job done. So nice work to him. Back at the front, Paul Russell continues to absorb all the pressure from Terry Rayton. This is in P2 and P3 between these two guys. So some great late race action on track. 0.2 of a second is the gap between Russell and Rayton. Closing up on him here. Oh, looking to make a move down the inside here. Can he build that momentum off the final turn? Sorry, wrong one. Here we go. This has probably been one of the best chances he's had for a long time. That's Hildebrand and Haycock just up ahead of them, but oh so close. Here's Van Vliet. He's having a go at it as well, as they brake hard for turn 1. And Van Vliet almost gets a switch back there. Gonna go around the outside. That is the long way around. The curb, just trying to use the curb to sort of drag him through the corner there. Hale just running, using all of the track on the exit as well. Little mistake there from Van Vliet. Not really going to cost him too much time. Oh, here it is. It's happened. This is Russell and Rayton. Come on, cameraman. Here it is. Oh, Rayton had gotten past momentarily. Let's have a quick look and see what happened there. This is into turn 7. I wonder if Russell just outbraked himself a little bit there. Perhaps got distracted by the other 2 cars in front of him. Has to fight back. Rayton still just couldn't quite get around the number 6 Audi. As we go back to live pictures right now. And there it is. Oh, this is a precarious position right now for Hildebrand and Haycock. They should be seeing the blue flags waving. Oh, another little mistake there from Russell, and that's opened it up. And that's Terry Rayton. That's all he needed to sneak through there. So after all of this time, absorbing all of that pressure, Paul Russell unfortunately makes a tiny mistake there. And that's all the chance he needed to give to Terry Rayton, who snuck through at the chicane area, looking to make up some ground. Under brakes there into turn 1, try and take that position back. They're going to go side by side. They've still got the other 2 slower cars up ahead. This is great stuff. This is the final 20 minutes of the race of round 6. We're finishing it off with a bang. This is for P2 and P3. Rayton and Russell have been going at it for well over half an hour now. Russell was able to absorb everything that Rayton threw at him. Unfortunately, had a little bit of slower traffic that he potentially might have got distracted with. They certainly didn't interfere. They've got their own race going on, well within the rules. And yeah, it was just enough to break his concentration ever so slightly. And that was all Terry Rayton needed to move his number 85 Ferrari for Selby Acoustics. Oh, look at this. There's more awkwardness with the slower traffic as they make their way through. That's Mark Hurley in the background. Tell you what, this that will certainly perk you up. A little bit of that action going on. So Terry Rayton now is the owner of P2. Paul Russell trying to take that back. This is Van Vliet and Ethan Cale. The darkness starting to take full effect now. It's 8:36 in-game time. And Harvey and Reed still going at it. Let's have a look at the replay. Harvey trying to go around the outside. Gets a little bit of a cut under. Is that turn one? It is. And they're going to continue to battle it out here. Harvey going to go around the outside. Can't find a way through there. And there we go. We're all good. Oh, wow. This is awesome. This is great stuff. Let's go. Oh, hang on. I'll go back to them. Van Vliet and Cale. This is Van Vliet we're looking at. So Cale did a 57 flat and a 57.1 to Van Vliet. So a tenth the difference between those two. We saw him have a little opportunity there on one of the previous laps. So Van Vliet might fancy himself through that part of sector 1. Ooh, Hurley and Hildebrand have swapped positions as well. So Hurley up into P11. He is the leader of the AM class. James Mack in second. Andrew Green in third. Nathan Harvey, he's leading the silver class division. This is great stuff from Nathan Harvey. So he's had a great season. So last round he was third. Before that he was fourth. He was 2 D-Not starts and a third. So he's been impressive. He's even more impressive under brakes here into turn 1. He's putting all kinds of pressure on the man in front of him, James Pierre Reid for Selby Acoustics. Oh, look at that. That doesn't get much closer than that. He's giving him a little bit of Morse code as well. And so darkness in full effect right here at the Nurburgring. Almost to the final quarter hour, we can see the exhaust pipes glowing red hot. Game really does look sensational. Those afternoon and evening times. Looks great generally all the time as well, to be fair. Just adds that extra element to it. 12 degrees air temperature, 12 degrees track temperature, so just continue to cool off. This is Van Vliet again. I'll cut back to this action here. So this is still 4th and 5th, 56.8. 56.6 to Van Vliet on that one. The advantage 0.2. The gap between Russell and Rayton is now at a second. So that's the gap between those two there. That's why I've just not been on it for a little bit. And there it is, the gap between second and third. This is the gap between 4th and 5th. Cale in 4th. 5th is Van Vliet. I'm more interested in this one here. Nathan Harvey putting the pressure on James Pierre Reid and the number 31 Mercedes. Dapper the brakes there. Oh, is he going to get it done through there? Opportunistic move by Nathan Harvey. Love it. Great stuff. Nice and aggressive from him. And Van Vliet is closing the gap down on Kale as well. So Kale has had Van Vliet all over his bumper for a long time now. He's been another one who's been able to absorb all the pressure, everything that Van Vliet has been able to throw at him, and continue to just to soak it up and remain in P4. Not made a mistake. Kept it going and in front of the number 424 Mercedes Van Vliet for Games from Racing Team. As Mark Hurley just making up a position on Hildebrandt. These two continue to fight it out. And Hurley completing that pass, so he moves up into P11. Those two have swapped spots a little bit lately. You can see those exhausts glowing red in the darkness. 8:47 in-game time, so we are going to finish in very, very dark conditions. This is Van Vliet. He's chasing down Kale, and there's the gap between Russell and Terry Rayton for second and third right now. So it's Russell's turn to stare at the rear wing of the car in front. Wobble out of turn 11, but no dramas for him. Let's get to Van Vliet. He's all over the back of Kale again. So once again, Kale just being able to absorb that pressure. Last week was a bit of a cakewalk for him after the lap 1, turn 1 incident. This week, definitely not the case. Definitely had to fight for it every inch of the way. Get the feeling that Mercedes isn't necessarily... no, I shouldn't say that. There's three Mercedes in the top 6. So 4th, 5th and 6th. I was going to say perhaps not finding the circuit to their liking, but they're populating 3 of the top 6 spots, so must be something about it that it clicks with. BMW and Ferrari. BMW, Ferrari, Audi. 3 different manufacturers, 3 different teams in the top 3. Good result for Selby Acoustics Racing. Once again, Van Vliet having to contend. Sorry, Ethan Kale having to contend with Van Vliet. At the back of him as they go down the hill into the right-hander of 7 again. These are the 2 closest cars on circuit. Paul Russell 6/10 away from Terry Rayton. Skip over there and give you a quick update. Stay with this for a little while longer. The other 2 cars that are quite close together, Hurley and Hildebrandt, down there in 11th and 12th. It's about half a second the difference. Still got 10 concurrent viewers. That's pretty good for 11 PM on a Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you enjoyed the stream. So you've got 5 likes. That's good. If you've enjoyed the stream, give us a like. It helps the channel. Subscribe as well. We're getting towards 500 subscribers. I think we're about 20 away. I feel like it's going to be a long 20 to get. So if you are watching, whether live or on replay, give us a like and a subscribe. We want to get to 500. I think it'd be a nice little achievement for the Ruse channel to get to 500 subscribers. It doesn't cost you a cent either. And we're in the final 10 minutes of this one. So this race has certainly had its ebbs and flows. And it's going to be a 10-minute sprint for the the minor positions right now. Andrew Lawrenson, just give you a reminder, he is actually racing tonight. A minute 23 is the gap between he and Terry Rayton. So he's he disappeared from the get-go. He was opening up a second a lap gap on these other guys, having those rear exhausts, glowing red as well. So great stuff. Getting some awesome pictures coming through. Oh, look at it. That's awesome. The nighttime effect. It's 8:55 in game time in the evening. So Russell, half a second the gap. 55.872 with 55.855 to Russell. So nothing in it between these two. It's going to be a big task ahead of Paul Russell here. Try and work his way past the Ferrari. Time is counting down. 8.5 minutes left for him to try and launch an attack. Van Vliet, he's in the same boat here. He and Ethan Cale have been tied together for a good half an hour or so now in 4th and 5th, and they continue to battle it out. That's Mark Hurley. He's a lapped car. Hildebrand behind Van Vliet. He's another lapped car, and Hurley just doing his best to keep out of the way. Fellow Mercedes driver. Van Vliet might just slip down the inside. No, he doesn't. What about Harvey? Oh no, what's happened to him? That was out of turn 11. Let's see what transpired here. So he was all over the back of the Mercedes of James Pierre-Reid. These guys are down in 6th and 7th. Oh, he's got the inside of the curb. Oh, manages to keep it going though. So nice work from him. But yeah, that is... he will be very disappointed with that. Just a small, tiny mistake. And he would have taken that curb the same way probably every lap just about. And that one just upset the car a little bit differently and gave him a different result. So still though, he's got 7 minutes left to try and make up some ground on Pierre-Reid, who's one spot ahead of him. So Mark Hurley, he's our AM leader. He definitely needed these points today, given his championship position. Herbertron and James Mack were ahead of him. James Mack currently P2 in class, and Herbertron 4th and 18th outright. So gives you a bit of an idea. Oh, James Mack! Where's that? That's turn 11. That's caught another one out. This time the Audi driver. Let's have a look. It's number 9, Neil Fakeney up ahead. This was 4th position. Oh yeah, the back just stepping out ever so slightly, and that was enough to upset it. And back to live pictures now. Oh, Van Vliet making up ground on Ethan Cale. Through turn 4. Oh, Cale runs a little bit wide. Oh, gets a bit tail happy. He did a great job to manage to hang on to that. That could have been an absolute disaster. Can Van Vliet convert here? Can he take advantage? Those rear tyres might just be a little bit warmer than normal for Cale, making him slightly vulnerable as they come into turn 7. The right-hander not on this time around for Van Vliet. So we're seeing just a few drivers here at the very, very end stages making some very minor mistakes. And this is the worst time to be in that position because you've worked so hard to get through an hour and 55 minutes. And to have a little minor mistake in the last 5 minutes, that's when it really hurts. That's not a nice feeling at all. So Ethan Cale able to avoid that situation, keep the car on the straight and narrow, and he continues to lead Marcus Van Vliet by less than a second. He's 17.6 seconds behind Paul Russell, so Looks like his string of podium finishes may be coming to an end unless he can somehow change that in the remaining 4.5 minutes. His streak will be over this evening. Here's Van Vliet again. This has been a pattern we've seen followed over and over and over again. As they go through 3, a right-hander, a 4. Van Vliet do. He was nearly 6/10 faster on that previous lap though, so did have a pace advantage. Not able to convert that into a pass. Nathan Harvey is all over the back of James Pierre Reid again, so does he have time left for one last shot at it? Just love the effects. Oh, hang on. Which one do we want? We want this one. There we go. And Van Vliet. Let's see if there's a move into the chicane. We'll just switch back between Van Vliet and Cale and Harvey and Reid. Coming down into turn 7. We'll just track this down into turn 1. 2.5 minutes remaining. Van Vliet and Cale, 4th and 5th. No, not that stage. Not that time around. Here's Harvey and Reid. Here we go. Up through the Michael Schumacher S's. Left-hander of 10. Takes a lot of the curb. See some drivers make mistakes through there. Not in this occasion. This is Mercedes versus BMW. German Prestige. Sweeping right of 12. Coming into the chicane now. James Pierre Reid holding steady. This is the battle for 6th and 7th. Selby Acoustic Racing. This is Pagani Next Level. 1.5 minutes left in this one. That is the gap between P1 and P2. Andrew Lawrenson has been in a class of his own all evening. Well, let's see how that transpires out actually. No. Harvey not able to make up enough ground. So he'll be running out of time and laps to launch an attack on James Pierre Reid. Love the yellow neon down the right hand side. Beautiful. Oh, Hildebrand. What's happened to him? That's at 11. We've seen a couple of drivers come unstuck there. Let's get back to this action though on the track. Harvey going side by side with James Pierre Reid. He's going to have the inside line here for turn 6 forward curve. That is how close it is on the track. Oh, they make a little bit of contact there. Neither driver prepared to give an inch here in the last 30 seconds of this one. These two have been together for a long period of time. There we go. The leader is on the last lap, and Nathan Harvey gets the job done. That was awesome to watch between these two, putting it all on the line, made a little bit of contact, but Nathan Harvey has done a fantastic job. He's going to have to hold on for another full lap once he makes it through the handful of turns remaining in this one to try and take home a top 6 position. Marcus Van Vliet, he's currently in a top 5 position at the moment, 5th in fact. He's hunting down Ethan Cale. They're on their final lap right now. And the number 88, where are you? Oh, there he is. Oh, so they're going to have another lap and a half to go. James Pierre Reid, he's having a go. They make contact again. They've got to go side by side up the front straight into turn 1. James Pierre Reid just inching ahead. It's going to be who can break the latest. James Pierre Reid on the dirty side. Nathan Harvey going a little bit wide, trying to get momentum out of the turn once again. They're going to go side by side through turn 2. And they'll continue to do that through turn 3. And Harvey all over the back loses out to Pierre Reid. This will be their final lap of the... Oh, no, they make contact. They go around. That's an unfortunate way to end it. Harvey will need to redress that. And I'm just trying to catch. He does. Good sportsmanship from those two. They battled hard. It's redressed. Let's play on from there. But this man here, Andrew Lawrenson, congratulations. Absolutely dominating fashion. I don't think I've seen a Rouge driver win in such dominating fashion like that before. But congratulations, Andrew Lawrenson, the Beyond Trophies number 88. He put it on pole position by 9/10 of a second, and domination continued throughout the race. So congratulations to him. That is win number 4 for him for the season. Congratulations. Ethan Cale and Marcus Van Vliet, they're on their final lap now as well. And looks like Van Vliet's managed to get past. So Van Vliet, that late stage of the race, is Harvey and Pierre Reid have made contact again at the end of it. So that's twice already in the space of this lap. But Marcus Van Vliet has managed to get past Ethan Cale. He's got about half a lap to get home from here. Can he finish in 4th? That would be a phenomenal effort for him. Games and Racing Team Mercedes. He's got Cale hunting him down. Wrong camera angle. There we go. This is the rear view from Marcus Van Vliet. It's his time now to feel the pressure. What about P2 and P3? They were a mile behind. So Paul Russell, congratulations. No, Terry Rayton, congratulations to him. He's going to take home P2. Well done, Terry Rayton. Great job. First podium of the season. Paul Russell, the same for him. And Marcus Van Vliet and Ethan Cale. This is going to go down to the final few turns. Marcus Van Vliet has one more turn to navigate. And he is going to take home P4 in round number 6 of the season. Congratulations to him. Awesome work, Marcus Van Vliet. Ethan Cale home in 5th. Then you've got Harvey finished 6th. Dominiak 7th. Wall 8th. What happened to Pierre Reid? I'm not too sure. We'll stick with Peter Wall. 9th, Haycock. 10th, Hurley. Hildebrand. Fakeney. Mack. Huddy. Stockton. Atron. And that is round number 6 in the books. That was awesome. Oh, Arthur Lawrenson. Happy birthday, Andrew. Wow. Well, Andrew Lawrenson, if it is your birthday that Arthur Lawrenson is so insinuating, happy birthday to you, and what a great way to celebrate your birthday. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a Rouge League race be dominated in such fashion, and as we saw this evening. So that wraps it up, everyone. That is the race. Oh, hang on. We should quickly go. Mark Hurley is the AM class winner. James Mack is 2nd. Andrew Green 3rd. Well done to those guys. Harvey, Dominiak, and Wall. That's your P1, 2, 3. So Harvey ended up taking home the class win in silver. Well done to him. Dominiak in 2nd and Peter Wall in 3rd. Thank you to everyone for watching. Awesome work to have most of you come along for the ride all the way to this very, very late hour. But enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. I hope you have a good time. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we do it all over again. Alton Park is where we're going to be next time out. But in between then, plenty of action on the Rouge channel. But yeah, stay safe, take care of yourself, My name's Nick. I will see you all in a couple of weeks. Till then, see you later. Bye.